it's me, Renee. I'm back. So today it's Wednesday. That means it's halfway through the week. Also means we're halfway through this book focused, well, extra book focused booktube video week. And also, normally Wednesdays is kind of like it might be a waiting on Wednesday video. We talk about upcoming books that you're looking forward to, books that you can pre-order that you want to buy. That's a thing on the booknet. I decided, you know what? Right now, I'm going to do a thing that I've done sometimes before, but I'm going to do it. It's been not long, but a little while since last time. Where I'm going to do a daydreaming. So I'm going to do books I'm waiting on in the abstract sense, in the way that these are not books that I know are coming, but these are books that I would want to come. Or in other words, books that I hope some people out there are right now writing or thinking about, or books that I hope in the future will exist. Because the world today, there's a lot of cool books out there, and then there's some books that you want to happen but just haven't happened. Now some of these are based on books that I have, so I kind of want more of those in a way, and some of them are kind of like they're kind of similar to movies or whatnot. And let's just start, shall we? And you'll understand after I do the video. You'll understand as we go. First, I'm gonna say I want more books like this, which is a spy book. It's a spy YA book. No, sorry, it's a spy language book. Though I suppose now I'm a bit like talking out of my butt because I don't know how many spy books there are out there. There probably are more than I have read. Uh, but I do know there, like, you have the James Bond books, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't. Is spy books very common? Maybe they are. I just haven't read them. Anyway, at least I kind of want spy books in this vein, where it's people from all over the world who go all over the world, saving the world, and in a while being spies. So this is a middleweight book. But I would take a YA, a spy book based series. I would take an adult based series. I don't, again, I can't think probably when I'm saying this aloud. There probably are some spy books out there, but I believe they're probably more thriller based than like, I want like this, so more action and comedy based than thriller based, like more focusing on the action and comedy. Of course, has to be a mystery there, but I don't really want it to be thrillery. I don't really want it to be like, you can't trust anyone. I want some people to be able to be trusted. I don't want it to be like completely mindfuck. I don't want that. So I kind of want this just for YA audience, but also for adult audience. I think that would be quite cool. I did read this a few weeks ago, and honestly, one of my favorite books of the year, and also my favorite books of my life. I would say it is that good. So I want more spy books in this vein. Also, I usually don't really do scripts for my videos, but I have a lot of books to talk about, so I'm gonna move forward. Then I want more books like Red, White, and Royal Blue. You might say, in what way? Well, I want more in this way that I want like alternative contemporary books, because this is set in a world where you had Bush, you had Obama, but Trump is nothing. And I kind of want that kind of book where you take the real world, but you twist it slightly, like it's not historical, but it's like, what if this happened, not this? And also, it would also kind of be fun to like have more romances between princes of different countries, or between a prince and a president, between a prince and a emperor in Japan. Like, I kind of like this political aspect of this book as well as the romance in it. And I would like more in this vein, really. I think that would be very, very nice. So, yeah. And of course, if you kind of think while looking at this video, oh, I know something kind of similar to that book, please comment down below. and give me a recommendation, I'm so here for that. Then we have word by word, which is kind of quirky and different, but so am I. And yeah, this video is not just fiction books, it's just kind of books in general. This is a it's a biography, but it's also a non-fiction book, the look of history of the dictionary. So it's niche, but also like I like how it's a mix between biography and a look into history of the dictionary. So honestly, what I kind of want more, I want biographies, but that kind of mix it with like the history of something. So here is the history of the dictionaries because Corey Camper works in dictionary, so that's kind of she goes into history of that. So like yeah, someone who's working in I don't know, maybe publishing, maybe printing. Yeah, well, doesn't have to be book based. Could be someone who's in a bakery. I mean, yeah, right now we just kind of there's so many professions out there, but yeah, some sort of profession, and also going into the history of it would be very very fun. Maybe someone's a president who goes into the president's history in that country. That would be fun. So yeah, there's a lot of options here, and yeah, I think I very much like the combining of the personal with the biography, but also the kind of more the more general view of the dictionary history, or like the general history of the establishment, I should say. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, and then we have a book like Pride, which this takes a look at a historical incident that is kind of like a incident for the better. I would say, at least, I suppose again, I might be overgeneralizing, but I feel like very much often when I have historical nonfiction, it's very often based around wars or based around assassinations or like sad, awful things. Here, what happened here is that two groups went together and helped each other. So yeah, kind of take a thing that happened that was cool, that was good, and make a non-fiction book about that. Or it could be a fiction book about something that was good. Don't just look at the bad parts of history, but also look at some good parts. I think that would be very nice to have, really. Yes, then we have yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna as usual I'm not like quite decided, but yeah. Then we have books like this, which is Loki's Diary. It's a middle grade, and it's a diary of Loki. So I suppose it's kind of similar to Apollo's trials in the way that Loki, a god, is been sent to Earth, and he has to do some trials. Well, yeah, he has to do some things to be able to go back up and be a god again. In this one, it's Loki, so he's done some mischief. In the Apollo thing, he wasn't really a mischief; was just kind of one thing he did. But still, this is Loki being generally Loki. And yeah, I quite like the idea of like having gods turned human, and I kind of also liked it when Apollo did it. So yeah, more books where gods are turned human. That's something I quite want to read more of. I mean, you have like books about demigods or half gods everywhere, or like sometimes you have books about gods be living among humans and falling in love. But there's never like them being human like in this or in Apollo's trials. And yeah, I quite like more of that. So yeah, but also like maybe do all of these things, and also quite like it's diary formed. And I kind of like a lot of these illustrations. So like do that thing, but then do it out of Egyptian mythology. Or like take a different mythology. Don't do Greek. Like take some other mythology. And yeah, I would very much be into that. So yeah, I suppose if you're also if you're a person who writes but wants ideas, please take some ideas from this video. So yeah. Then we have now this is slightly cheating, but I'm still gonna use it because this is not a book I've read so far. So I suppose I can't know that this is a book I need more of. But so like the concept of it is just so cool. So like even if this book turns out to disappoint me, I feel like the concept of it I still want more. It is 80 Days to Elsewhere. So this is a book where I suppose it's slightly Jules Verne inspired, where like she goes around the world to save her bookstore. I don't quite remember how, but yeah, for some reason I has to go around the world. I think she has to solve clues or travel to hunt someone down. I don't know. For some reason she goes around the world, and it's like to help her bookstore. So yeah, honestly, I kind of want more books where they travel around the world or travel around the place. I feel like quite a lot of books they go like maybe go to one place, maybe two places, and then that's that. Or in some books they go to several places and but you don't really feel like they've been the place. Like I love the books where you go around traveling and you kind of feel like, oh yeah, this feels like you've gone to this place. Like it kind of feels like, oh, now I don't have to go to that place because I just went there in this book. So I don't have to buy the travel arrangements myself. Like not like I mean it's always better to be there yourself. But like one of the reasons to read is to like go to someplace else through the book. And yeah, I mean it's a cheaper travel ticket than buying a ticket to China. So yeah, so just kind of yeah, a, a book where they go traveling around different places, not just one place. And also I think this is kind of competition ish based. So yeah, more books like this, definitely. I think that would be quite fun. And then we have A Bottle of Rum, which is a non-fiction. It's a non-fiction historical, but it looks into history of a lot of things because okay, so it's like the title says, A Bottle of Rum, but it's the history of the New World in 10 cocktails. So it talks about because rum was like it's very much associated and very much like of the Caribbean. So it's kind of like a history of Caribbean, but it kind of goes into different cocktails. So it's a history of history of slave ships, history of pirates. It's so many things it goes into, but it kind of looks in through the lens of cocktails. And I kind of like this kind of idea where you take a area, but you don't just look at one part of the area, but you like go to history in different ways, and you can also like look into history of like from a drink perspective. I think that's quite fun. I mean, it's not even like I'm a big rum drinker, but like this title just caught my eye, and it's also just a great book, great read. It's told in a great way. So yeah, historical books that kind of tells the story of several things around the same area, which again probably happens out there, but yeah, I suppose if you have any recommendations, give them to me. So yeah. And then we have Out of the Blue by Jason June. So this is it's kind of one of those weird books because it's both very light and fluffy and happy and nice, but it's also like on the other side, it also talks about the big questions. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of me? How should we live the life? I mean, it's kind of talks about the small questions, the big questions, and it's also quite fun to like have more people in it. It's just kind of looks at humans from the outside perspective from a mer person. So yeah, honestly, I kind of want kind of similar like this, but maybe do it as a from the perspective of a fairy, or from the perspective of a werewolf or vampire or maybe alien. Like take something non-human and kind of take a look at the human condition, which is kind of what this book does really. And yeah, then we have My Plain Jane. Sorry, My Plain Jane, which is the second book in this My the Jane series. And this it's one trilogy and then in a way two trilogies because the second trilogy is Mary based, but the whole idea is that these artists, sorry, is authors Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodie Meadows. They've taken some of the persons they used are real life people. Some of them they've used are fictional people. Like this book, it's tells the story of what if Charlotte Bronte was a friend of Jane Eyre and not the author of it. And so it takes stories, as you know, and like twist them around, and also so it's kind of historical, but like with very funny aspects to them, and also different twist, and you would have like, yeah, quite funny and fluffy, and I would say in a way, yeah, in a way I would say kind of think Blackadder, but like in book form, because it's historical but funny and twisty and entertaining. And yeah, honestly, I kind of want more books like this. I feel like, yeah, for some reason, I feel like a lot of historic fiction is kind of more dreary and sad. I mean, yeah, I mean, not all of them, but I feel like historical romances are fun and fluffy, but historical fiction, which is just kind of with romance in it, but not like a main focus, I feel like they often are kind of a bit more dreary and sad. I feel like you can easily do historical, but just have some fluffiness and funniness and quirk and whimsicalness to it, like this. So yeah, more like that I would love. Then we have Murder on a School Night, which is a story both with like a crime element, like there's people dying and they have to figure out who's dying, but it's also very feminist based, and it's also female product based. Like there's like lots of talked about female hygiene products, and I just love that so much. And yeah, kind of more like this. I would say like more books where female hygiene products are talked about and in the forefront. Yeah, that's my jam. Definitely, definitely is. And then we have books like the Stone, yeah, Stonebrook Heiress, which is, I've talked about this quite a lot. I mean, over the times that I read it, but yeah, it's just so amazing. It's a book about someone rich who's loses all the money and kind of have to start over again. So I suppose in a way that has happened before. You have books about other about people who lose their job have to start over again. But I don't really feel you often have a lot of books there where like it's a rich person who like goes from being very rich to having nothing. And I quite like that kind of juxtaposition of like suddenly you went from everything to nothing, and you have to learn, yeah, fish out of whatever you have to learn all new stuff and things. But also, I quite also like how this one takes place in Liverpool, which I feel in a way, I mean, again, a bit of a generalizing, but I feel like all the books set in the UK are set in London. Like the British author seems to forget that you have other cities. And yeah, I quite like that it's this one takes place in Liverpool. I love that. Now I might be wrong, maybe it's Manchester, but I believe it's Liverpool. I know, I'm just gonna double check if it's Liverpool or London. Yeah, it's Liverpool. So yeah, I just love that it's kind of takes place in a different city than London, and so that's also quite a big thumbs up for me. So yeah, more books in this vein. And then we have The Mermaid's Madness. So this is, and it has, doesn't it have like a serious name? Anyway, it's an adult reimagining of the fairy tales from Disney, or like, yeah, fairy tales. Does this one use Rumpelstiltskin? No, I think it's mainly like it's Sleeping Beauty, Mulan, and Cinderella. So it tells the story, mixes different fairy tale characters, uh, but it's for adults, so it's with uh, some rough language. There's sex talk. There's violence. I mean, I would say like mainly there's like big violence in it. So I quite like how you take these characters that you kind of associate with your childhood, or fairy tales often what you think about childhood. But like back in the day, fairy tales were often quite grim. Um, but yeah, you write it for an adult audience, and I, yeah, love 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 that. So want more of this in this one? Then again, kind of like Red, White, and Royal Blue, here we have a contemporary book with a twist. This one tells the story of what happened if in the 1600s, 1700s, yeah, around the uh, around the independence war of the US, George Washington said he would be a king instead of being a president. So like in this world, United States has a king and monarchy instead of presidency. But also in this world, the France still has a still has a monarchy. The Tsar is still a thing. There's like lots of other consequences because of what happened in the States. And yeah, quite like that kind of interesting like what if idea. And yeah, kind of like more kind of what if contemporary reads like this would be quite fun because it's contemporary, but it's quite a different world. Though it's similar to ours, like it's the same. Like they still have computers and stuff, but it's a different world in a way. So yeah. I'm just gonna check if there's anything more here. Not any of those. Yeah, you know what? Give me a moment. Yeah, we'll do it that way. So here we have a book that's set in publishing, which is quite fun to like read about like reading publishing life. It's a fictionalized version of it, but it's still quite fun to like have a setting being there. So you read about agents and editors and whatnot. And this book has a main character who's in her 40s who gets ADHD in this book, or she gets diagnosed. So I kind of like that ADHD representation as well. And yeah, so it's kind of in general more books set in publishing history. So not like a big hook, but like yeah, I would quite like that hook. So yeah. And then we have so books like Time Villains. So the basic of this is that they have a magical table, where so they got this assignment from school that they're supposed to write down 5 people they want to have for dinner. Not for dinner, but to dinner. No, not gonna eat people. I mean, you probably guess that. Yeah, not gonna eat people, but yeah. And but like in the because it's magic table, when they write down the names, people come there. So I kind of like how they take that old question of like that you kind of have sometimes like, who would I want invite for dinner if I could invite anyone? And it kind of tells stories like what would happen if that happened. So I kind of like maybe a book that doesn't, because I know there's some other like imaginary dinner, imaginary people, famous people at dinner party books. I think like if you did like one way, like maybe you had one person like he could write down some bucket list, and some of them could be like crazy things like fly or ride a horse, ride a dragon, and then for some whimsical magical reason they experience those bucket list kind of things. I think that would be quite fun. So kind of things like that, like taking those kinds of questions. Yeah, like what would happen if you woke up tomorrow and fly? What would you do then? Or what would you do if you um, had 3 wishes? What would you do? So like, but like those kinds of stuff, like it just happen in fantasy, but like put them in urban fantasy settings. I think that would be quite fun. So yeah, and then sorry, and then I would like more books with like this in what way, you might ask yourself. Well, this is a romance between a girl with ADHD and a man and a guy with autism. So just in general, uh, love stories between people on the spectrum. So it could be 2 people with ADHD, and one guy with ADHD and a girl with OCD. It could be 2 guys who both have autism. Like those kinds of stories, I would very much like to see. And then we have 2 books that are kind of similar in a way. No, I'm going to talk about them at the same time. Okay, so because the one thing I'm going to talk about here is that I kind of want books that are they don't really aren't one thing. Both of these books you can't really. It's kind of hard to say what they are. Like this book, you could say it's a crime book because criminal things happen. But I think because of very soon you know who did what and who's dead, it's not like it can't be a crime if you know what happened. That's just something criminal that has happened. It's also funny, but it's also a family story. It's so many things. It doesn't really go into specific uh, genre. I would say it's just a very different book. I suppose it kind of, in a way, it's kind of like that. Yesterday I said this was a Fargo-ish story. Anyway, I suppose also you could say it's kind of like a Wes Anderson story because the characters are whimsical and it's just absurd, and so I suppose that way it's kind of something, but it's not your everyday book really. It's quite different than most books really. Which I suppose, I mean, probably of most authors want to write something that's different than everyone else. If you write something, people say, "Oh, this is just like that book. Nothing, not anything unique at all." It's like, yeah, you want to write something different. Don't you? You want to write something specific to you. But yeah, and then the same with this one. People with interest people. It's the Norwegian version of that book. But yeah, this also it has a crime. It has a hostage situation. But it's not really about like who did a crime and what happened there. It's more like about the characters who who were involved in it and what happened around them. And I mean, it's one of those books that will make you cry, will make you smile, will make you think about the world. And it's not like I can't really say that this is like 50% humor and 50% mystery because like for a long time you don't really know what happened. I would honestly say it's kind of equal mystery and humor and drama and well, it's not horror, but yeah, drama and character-based story. It's kind of everything at once. And yeah, I kind of like how it's a everything book. It doesn't really fit perfectly into the humor category or the crime category or the love category. I don't honestly don't really believe is there a love story in this book? Maybe it's been a little while. But yeah, either way, it doesn't really fit into one category. It's like it's an everything book. And yeah, I love it. Love it so much. Then we have, let me just see my list. No, the list is not there. Yep, my list is here. Yep. And then we have, sorry, similar to what I've said, destinations. So I feel like I talked about this one earlier before as well, like a good thing can never be said so many times. But I feel like, yeah, not, and sorry. Now I'm going on to like the where I just have notes. I don't really have any books to refer to really. But yeah, I feel like a lot of books, most of them takes place in just in one city, or maybe they take place where like it's in honeymoon, or it takes place in a different place than where people are from. But I feel like very often it's London, it's New York, it might be Paris, it might be Rome, but that's kind of it. And I feel like, I mean, the world is full of beautiful places. It's full of big cities, historical cities. Like, why don't you set it somewhere different? Like, set it in Bergen, Norway. Bergen, Norway has a great history. It has lots of lovely streets. It's a great setting to have a story. You can set it in Tromsø, Norway. I mean, if you want to have like Northern Lights there, you can use it there. It's a big city, but also kind of small city. You could just a Bodø, Norway. I meant Tromsø, as was Bodø as well. Bodø is slightly better than Tromsø, I would say. But yeah, both of those cities. You could set it in Malta, in Valletta and Malta. You could set it in Greece town. That's not Athens. You could set it in Belgium. I mean, there's so many places set settings. But just always use London or New York. And yeah, you can also just you can. It doesn't have to be like a vacation place. It could be a book set in Manchester, a book set in Dublin, a book set in I don't know Oxford, a book. I mean, there's so many cities around the world, and they always use the same place over and over again. It's kind of annoying, quite annoying, I would say. And also, I feel like at least me, and I feel like a lot of people say like they read because they want to escape, they want to go to someplace else, and then most of the books, well, most of the books, a lot of the books are set in the same places. Like, yeah, you just go to the same place. I mean, it's cheaper to read a book about a place than to go a place. So yeah, hopefully that happens. That's big. That happens in the future. That people will think about more different places to write books to have them in, because honestly, that annoys me so much, so much. And then we have time travel stories. You might think, oh, there's no time travel stories. Okay, wait a moment. So a lot of the books time travel that are for kids are like, let's go to the past and save the world because of some evil organization or some evil villain. Or there might sometimes there's they go into the past because of circumstance and then they fall in love and they have to still go back and whatnot. Uh, but like for adults, again, I don't know certain, but like most of the books I have like discovered time travel books for adults are time travel romances, and I kind of would like an adult story where they go to the past to save the world, but it's with adults. It's the cast is a bunch of 50-year-olds, a bunch of 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds, not teens or preteens. Like people saving the world who maybe some people from military go back in time and save the world because of some reason. But yeah, I mean, it's not like only kids can save the world. So that's yeah. I kind of want that time travel aspect, but with adults. I think that would like with the save the world aspects. If they flirt with some people in the Viking era or in the Tudor era, cool. But like mainly save the world through time travel with adults. That's what I really want, people. Please give it to me. And then we have yeah, I know. I just said that I don't really have any more books to show you. I do have one here in a moment. So this book has been described as Sleeping Beauty plus Indiana Jones, and I would say that's quite true in a way, because it takes fairy tale tropes and remixes and retells them. There's also kind of like a Indiana Jones aspect to it. But the thing is, like, the main characters here in this story are like the people you see the point of view mostly from are two girls, well, teen girls, yeah, females. So honestly, yeah, it's the Indiana Jones action, but from a girl perspective. And I would like more books like this. It could be some magic in it, but it could not be magic. But like, yeah, girls going around solving puzzles, but not having, or like girls being the one who solve the puzzles, not like helping the guys. Them being a center. You can have a guy in the cast of characters, yeah, but like have the girl be the smart puzzle solver. I want that, please. More of that. Yeah, so that yeah, and then we have like this. I feel like it's kind of weird because I feel like it happens a lot in movies and a lot of movies, quite a lot of movies and TV series. I feel like not so much in books, or at least not books I've discovered. So again, yeah, if you know any tips like this, please recommend me them. But yeah, I want books set in Atlantis, books set in El Dorado, books set in Shangri-La. So like all these different mythical places have a book where someone find them. Like, oh my god, it happens. We found it. It could be a time travel where they travel back in time and think, oh, this is a real place. Like go back to ancient Greece where like Atlantis was talked about and discovered or like told through the universe through Socrates. Or it could be a modern day thing. Just whatever. Like I would like I feel like this, like Atlantis, El Dorado, that's used in TV series, like the City in Gold, and you have a national treasure, but it's never used in books. And I think it was just quite very fun setting to have. Yeah, I would love settings like that. I thought about that one. Yeah, and then we have gender twist books. So kind of like, yeah, I don't have it here. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, actually, that's actually a book that I had from the library I read years ago, but still like a great book. I should buy it. But yeah, there's a YA book called Boys Don't Knit, and it's all about this guy who, like, he's not bad, but I think he kind of acts out because he has a new stepmom. Yeah, he has something new in his family. Remember, because it's been a little while. But yeah, something new in his family, and I think maybe he has to uh, get something at school, something, and he ends up breaking into his school, or like this small misdemeanor thing. But since he hasn't done anything bad before, and because of his judge, because he has to go to a trial and whatnot, the judge decides to not give him juvie, and doesn't give him, but he instead gives him a choice of like something to do, because often thinking like, okay, people who are criminals in their teens, they're just doing it because they're bored, so we should give the kids something to do. So he gets a choice of two courses, like, yeah, hobby courses, and he ends up going to a knitting course. So it's him, this 12-year-old, and then a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds. Like quite quickly, he ends up like, oh, you know what? I quite enjoy knitting. So, and then he ends up going to a going to a knitting competition, wins it. There's a sequel where he goes to New York, knits there, and yeah, quite fun. But like it kind of very much looks at like the point of view of like a guy who knits, which is kind of throwing gender stereotypes on his head. Like, guy can't knit, which of course I can, but like because of this idea that you can't knit, it's masculine, whatnot. So yeah, I kind of like more books like this, where like you take stereotypes and genotypes and throw them on its head. I yeah, love books like that. The same author wrote a book about a girl who was into boxing, which honestly it kind of fell flat for me. I like the idea behind it, but just a lot of things in that book didn't really work for me. But yeah, yeah, throwing gender stereotypes on its head. I love those kinds of books. And yeah, now we have a book. Well, actually, I am going to use this again, and also give me one moment. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I seem to maybe have misput a book. Sometimes I put books in places and I don't remember where I put them. I should know I should have control about my books. I don't. Yeah, I suppose I should just use this one. So here I want to talk about like characters, because I feel like quite often the characters are do like perfect people who like they get the best job and they get the best salary, and they have the best people in their life. And then what's kind of the problem is that kind of like the people around them, like they might have a bad coworker or something like that, but like them person is like, I can do everything right, but like the world doesn't work, but like I do everything right. And it's kind of a bit like, you're so perfect, it's annoying. But then also you have, I think, not so much in books. I feel like that's a bit more in movies, but like it does happen in books as well, where you have a character who doesn't do anything right. They get awful grades. They can never get a job. They switch careers all the time. They don't remember stuff. Like they're awful. And I feel like, yeah, I mean, that's a thing as well. But what I kind of want more is kind of like here, where like the main character, well, not main character, Billy. I'm saying don't check. Billy. She does okay. She's not um she's not awful at school, but she's not perfect. She gets decent grades. She gets middle of the road grades, which, yeah, people do get that. And sometimes she manages things that people ask her to do. Sometimes she just manage them. Like it's not like she all the time fails at stuff or all the time manages and do it perfectly. She does it like on average. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And yeah, honestly, I want more books like this. People where people are average or medium or maybe honestly a bit more realistic, because I feel like more people are like this. Not everyone gets A+ on all the grades they have. Not everyone gets into the biggest colleges. Not everyone gets the best jobs after just one application. I mean, most people have to try and try, and even when they get the job, they might try and try again. So, yeah. And then, last but not least, I kind of would like some books. This, well, it could be nonfiction as well, but I think honestly, I kind of would. Well, I suppose nonfiction could be a biography, but this one I kind of want more fiction books, and I want more fiction books with MLD people. Which, in case you don't know, you haven't been there before, or you haven't heard me talk about this. Hey, I'm Renee, or Renate, as some people know me by right now, which is also my name. And I have non-verbal learning disorder, which is similar. It's kind of discussed if it's on the spectrum of autism or not, but it has some similarities. So the thing of like not being able to get social clues, not being able to read people, like body language, a lot of things going over my head, needing precise precise instructions, not just saying tidy, but like tidy there and being precise. And yeah, so I read one book that came out a few years ago about a character with NLD. She kind of felt like a bit robotic. That's kind of honestly a bit of the iffy of the problem I have with a lot of books where they do like, or more in movies, but like yeah, where they have people who are autistic, but like they seem kind of more like I can't feel, I don't understand anything, I don't have feelings. It's like even if you don't understand people, you still have feelings. I mean, kind of Sheldon Cooper, kind of he's not autistic, but he kind of also coded, but like robotic, and it's like yeah, you can definitely be autism and like or dyslexia and don't understand people, but still have feelings. Like even if you don't understand, even if you like me make mistakes and you say something rude, but it wasn't on purpose, you still feel bad because you told people that the wrong thing, and they go around thinking like, oh my god, that person is going around being rude. It's not on purpose. I don't want people to feel offended or want people to feel like mean or something. I don't want that. But I try my best. And yeah, I don't understand the world, but I do have feel well, not understand the world. I understand some aspects of the world. I suppose in a general way, I don't understand the world. Uh, but I do understand like the emotional feelings of it on some ways, and yeah, kind of want more NLD representation, or I suppose in general autism books, because yeah, I love ways that I relate to people with autism because there's a lot of overlap there. So just more books where autism characters that feel real and feel real really. I think that would be nice. So yeah, that's it for today. I thought for some reason this was going to be a shorter video, but yeah, it was longer again. But I suppose yeah, this is the week with long videos for me. Well, I suppose I have to do it a lot of time, but yeah. As always, if you have any recommendations of books like these, please give them in the comments. If you have any books that you want to be existing in the future, talk to me about them in the comments. That would be interesting to hear about what book you feel are that you feel are missing in the world. And or you could just put a book emoji, and I'll see you soon. Bye.